I can't stand it. I'm a pacifist now.
No.
So I look back now and I think it's the person I was, and a lot of people don't want to believe you can change, and I was able to change and defeat those odds in a sense that, you know, I have overcome a lot of obstacles.
Australia, welcome to the show. I'm Michael Kuzilny. Tough times never last, but tough people do. And I know thousands of Australians have been watching this show for years, and thank you very much for your inspiration, your emails. A lot of people get on our Facebook site, but you know, I've been around the criminal justice system for over 30 years now, and I've seen a lot of people suffer. I've been to a lot of funerals, and a lot of people suffering out there. Might be relationship bust-ups, you might have a drug habit, you might just be depressed and you don't even know why, but remember, tomorrow's another day. And sometimes you just have to go through whatever you're going through. We've had some decent and authentic people on the couch. Jaden's on the couch tonight. He's been in and out of the courts. He's gone through his ups and his downs. Almost went to jail. He's had a heroin problem, but lovely to have you on, bro.
Nice to meet you, Michael.
Yeah, Jaden, thanks for coming on, mate.
You're
you look
welcome.
so healthy and
I am healthy.
First class, you know.
Thank you.
But it wasn't always like this.
No, it wasn't. No.
And you know how the courts are always imposing like you know, drug treatment orders and everything, but you really have to be ready to change, don't you?
You do, yeah, you do.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely you do. And it's hard. It's really hard to do that. But if you have self-determination, and I think it's having people around you that are really positive influences that will help you change.
How long were you a heroin addict for?
I wasn't necessarily an addict. What I was a binge user, so in a sense that I couldn't be around heroin, or I couldn't be around OxyContin without having to use it.
What's OxyContin?
OxyContin, oxynorm's a form of morphine. So what it was I would binge on, you know, an alcoholic would maybe drink for a month straight, but have a rest for 6 weeks or 6 months. I would binge on these sort of drugs for up to 2 weeks to a week. Sometimes.
And how many years of your life, Jaden, were you on this nasty stuff?
I started doing it. I started mucking around when I was 21. It was at a party. It was actually at a cousin's party, and I was introduced to it. And it takes two to tango, so I'm not blaming him. And
sure,
I ended up kind of jumping on that.
Yeah.
I started recreationally using drugs, and then when I was introduced to that, I found that I really enjoyed it, and it repressed a lot of memories that I was having, and a lot of the way I felt. It was like a big teddy bear in a sense that I felt comfortable. Yeah,
that's how it all starts, isn't it? The comfortable stuff. Like even the ice, a lot of people feel comfortable on the ice, don't they?
Absolutely.
Gives them some sort of emotional armour, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly right, and that's the case for a brother of mine. Yeah.
And then Jaden, it got so bad that you got hooked on it and started hanging around with the local burglars, crooks, and drug dealers, did you?
Yeah, I was hanging around a lot of bad people. I was hanging around a lot of people my age that were just troubled youth and troubled individuals. You know, in a sense that we would go out, we would fight, get in punch-ons, we would, you know, just do a lot of silly, crazy shit that wasn't acceptable.
And that crazy shit, Jaden, turned into a criminal charge that landed you in prison for 15 months.
Not in prison. What happened was, close to.
What had happened there?
I had to go to court, and it was a 4-year process from 2010. I was charged for quite a serious matter, which involved someone ending up in hospital and having to get surgery. I went to court in 2014, but the charge was in 2010, and in those 5 years I'd changed my life.
So that was the turning point for you?
It was a big turning point for me, yeah, roughly around that time when I remember because I was sitting in bed also with a lot of blood over me and chunks of skin missing off my finger and my nose, and I remember thinking, it's just this isn't acceptable. I can't keep doing this with my life.
Were you remorseful at the time?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And looking back, you'd probably hate violence now, wouldn't you?
I can't stand it. I'm a pacifist now.
No.
So I look back now and I think it's the person I was, and a lot of people don't want to believe you can change, and I was able to change and defeat those odds in a sense that, you know, I have overcome a lot of obstacles.
And that's right, folks, isn't it? We can all change. Just because you might be facing a court case, or maybe you're watching this behind bars somewhere, just because you've committed a wrongful act doesn't mean you're a wrongful person. You know, I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, you know, but we change, we grow every single year, and And you know, a good support group always helps as well. But one of the kindest people I've ever met, very, very authentic and very selfless. A lot of very selfish people out there, you know. People are always thinking about themselves, you know, me, I. Sometimes we just have to forget self, live simply, expect little, and you know, really try to spread a bit of sunshine to others. The problem is now that in society, Western society, you know, 1 in 3 is depressed. You know, in today's paper, 7 people are suiciding every day in Australia, and that's gone up 20% in the last 10 years, and that's going to go up more and more because we're always we've got these self-pity parties.
We do have self-pity
drama
parties.
Queens, you know.
I see a lot of it now.
What about me?
I find I see a lot of people now, and it's funny because I started working for Father Bob, doing outreach work, and at the time I used to hear, you know, a person whinge about, you know, their car wasn't working, they couldn't get to work because their car's not working, or, oh no, I can't afford my latest great pair of shoes, or something like that. And then I started meeting people that were doing it really, really tough. People that can't, like women that can't even afford on the street to buy sanitary pads, or people that can't afford to live in a room or shelter, so they're sleeping under bridges, or they're sleeping in toilets or behind toilets or anywhere. And these are people that are doing it tough. They had traumatic childhood experiences, horrible. And it's an understanding of saying, until we are in that position, how we would end up too. But some people just have it.
And that's such a good point, folks, isn't it? Some, you know, if life's all soft and you know, you're worried how you present yourself to the world, you know, this thing I call status anxiety, it's all about me. But once we do go through the shit, you know, we can then really relate how other people feel. You know, we're not just listening and thinking about the next thing, but we're actually feeling, because we've been to similar dark places. So going through tough times actually makes us a lot more resilient, I think, and a lot more powerful, and being able to show a bit more compassion, which is so important, isn't it? And that's what you're doing with Father Bob. That's wonderful, mate. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks, mate.
You know, you're not a crook, you're not a thief, you're not a drug user.
Absolutely
You look
not,
after yourself. But we might talk about the journey growing up after the break. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back very shortly. Very much for joining us tonight. If you go through some difficult issues tonight, you know, it might take a week, might take a month, might take 3 years. We don't know what you're going through, but you know, I don't think life's always going to be rosy. Sometimes the universe or life will just sweep that carpet under your feet, and you know, all of a sudden, I see many people going bankrupt. You know, they think everything's going to last forever. But in life, everything's so impermanent, even life itself. You know, I think I worked out the other day, I wrote a book last year, expiry date 25,000 days. We only get 25,000 of these precious days, and they're going to come with 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows. But no need to have a self-pity party. We all go through the same shit. So just surrender and just... Great to be alive, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like Jaden, great to be alive. Tell us about your growing up. Was it a happy growing up as a kid?
It was. Yeah, it was good. There was some hard times at home. Like, it was good. I got a great, incredible mother that's been extremely supportive, and she worked really hard to give us what she couldn't, put clothes on our back and so on, and food on the table. And there was some issues in home. You know,
Dad took off?
No, Dad never took off. He was there, but he had his own issues. Yeah, he had some serious demons from his past, to what his father was like to him, and but he managed to keep it under control to a point. So at home, things got sometimes a little tough, but it was good. Mum was incredible, and Dad's a good guy. He means well. It's a bit hard for him sometimes to show, I guess, affection, or you know.
It's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jaden, are they're still around?
Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah,
Mum and Dad are still around.
You still see them?
Yeah, I still see him, absolutely. Yeah, I still catch up with him.
They must be wrapped about the turnaround, because you would have put them through hell, in and out of the courts. And Jaden, there must have been a very, very special judge who saw the good in you, you know, because you got a 15-month sentence at the magistrate's court.
Yep.
You know, and in your mind you thought, shit, you know, this is going to be, this is more than 3 months. It's going to be difficult, you know.
Yep.
Doing 3 or 6 months is simple, you know.
15 months is a long
15
long
months
time.
is just a drag, you know, especially being told by people what to do, when to shower, when to eat, you know, how to think. For some reason, some people love going back to prison over and over, but it's much better being free, and it's much better being honest. Because if we think good and do good, usually good things come back, folks, doesn't it? But if you're shonky, if you rip people off, if you backstab, and you're trying to be greedy and just rip people off, and you know, that's what happens. It all comes back. It's that simple. But people, you know, keep on cheating the system until it all falls apart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
So when you grew up in and out of court for,
probably from the age of about 15 until about 25.
got to know all the magistrates.
I got to know a lot of the magistrates. Yeah.
Which court did you mainly appeal
I
at?
went to mainly Broadmeadows.
Broady, Mr. Kuma.
Yeah, I've been I've been before him a few times.
Yeah, what a terrific fella. He's just about to retire, but
yeah,
decent fella with.
He is. He gives
know,
people the benefit of the doubt.
Got a good heart, and a lot of these magistrates that really get involved in the community, but they've all got a job to do. You know,
Absolutely.
Like a lot of the police have got a job to do.
It's their job. Yeah.
You know. Yeah, so you got all these orders, you got corrections orders, but I suppose you had counsellors saying get off the drugs, but you weren't ready.
No. I was. It was just one of those things. I was hanging around a group of people, and I can't blame just the group. It was me as a person, as an individual, that I had to make a choice, and I was extremely ignorant to what I thought, you know, who I wanted to be in life. And then I realised when I stopped hanging around a lot of these people that I was mixing in with, and started changing my way of thinking, eating, what I read, what I'd done, the people I hung around. And I'm meeting a group of people through the Father Bob environment, and all those good folk that volunteer and the workers. I just
and isn't he a lovely guy, Father? For the people who know Father Bob, you know, he's not part of that herd mentality. He's a man who's very irregular priest. You know, we've all seen him. He's very outspoken, and I think he's a terrific fellow. I went to his services. You know, several times when he was still practicing, and you know, it was always a big laugh. You know, people were laughing, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? But you know, sometimes if you're irregular and you think you're the odd one out, congratulations, because you know, why go with the herd? You know, normal. There's no such thing as normal. I always collect friends who are regular. They're much more exciting, aren't they? You know, and I think they're independent towards the opinions of other people. If we, you know, it seems to me like, when we're young, you know, we're having all the fun, we muck around, we're not too worried about the opinions of other people.
No, you don't.
And then we get moulded, don't we, into dressing the same, speaking the same. Everyone has a football team, you know, a political party, and you don't want to say anything unique. You don't want to break away from the crowd, because the sort of uniqueness is not accepted in society, is it?
And that's it. And I found that when I started being part of the Father Bob Foundation, you can be who you want to be, and people aren't going to judge. They don't judge you on who you are, and people are really accepting, because, you know, and especially when you're working with people that are marginalised or disadvantaged, homeless, they're the last people to judge you. They've been through a rough trot themselves and still going through a rough trot, so they're extremely accepting, and they're not going to judge you on your faults, because they know what it's like to be down in the dumps.
So Father Bob knew you all the way from when you were a young kid. You had a diversion, and then you had lots of court cases, and then when did you go to him and knock on his door and say, hey, I want to help people now? He
helped me in court, and if it wasn't for him, I would have been doing a lengthy sentence. So he helped me, and he got up and he explained to the judge that he thought I was a changed man in that 5-year period that when the offence had happened. And it's been so many years now, and the judge, I think the judge had kind of a bit of a boys' school crush on him. The judge remembered him and said, I remember you from when I was a kid. You used to come to, you know, and give maths. And the judge listened to him, and he gave me the benefit of the doubt, and the judge seen something in me, and that's how it went from there. And I've stayed with him ever since, and stayed loyal.
And what year was that when you started working there?
I've been there now about a year. So I started working there 2014 last year. September.
What do you do every day? What is your day?
We go out. We salvage food for people that are homeless, people that also you know, don't have the basic necessities at home, that can't afford to feed their kids, because food's so expensive. It really is expensive, and we get salvage food from charities. We give hampers. We supply, you know, a bit of counselling here. referrals.
Mate, I'm proud of you, mate. That's amazing
advocacy.
work. Isn't it lovely? There's the givers and the takers in life, and this man is definitely a giver. Love and best wishes. We'll be back very shortly. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a lovely evening. If you're going through some difficult issues, quite often people think there must be an instant solution. I'm going to get out of this today. I'm going to speak to somebody or make lots of money. But quite often it's like going through the woods. You just have to go through it until that difficult time expires. And be resilient and just know that you're going through a difficult issues. You know, we had a person here last week. They were dying from a terminal illness and had 6 months to go. But what that person said, they said, Michael, life's quite nice, you know, today is nice, I'm feeling good now. So I think the key is to live in daytime compartments, just today, just now, and not think too much about the past or the future. Just try to enjoy yourself. There can be beauty in the messiness of life, folks. So even if you're going through a very, very turbulent time, there's still beauty there, you know. I popped into prison the other day and there were some blokes there doing, 25 years behind bars, but I saw them laughing in the corner, having a bit of fun, doing a bit of community work, you know. So it's not all that bad, and everything's quite impermanent. It's all very transient, and before you know it, death will come and wipe you out. You know, that's one thing I think about every day is death, because one day will come when it's your last day on the planet, and you won't even know when it is. It's like Crazy John, you know, a very successful man, you know, made millions,
Absolutely,
millions
yes.
and millions. And
Cool.
I used to go to the dog beach there and see the beautiful house and everything. And then on the news I heard one day, oh yes, just in the park, had a heart attack, you know.
Yeah, just jogging, wasn't he? Just jogging. I think he was going for a run or for a walk. He was a fit.
And you can't take any of that stuff with you, can you?
No, you can't.
I saw a photo the other day, a big mansion and a small house, big mansion, and then 2 graves, you know, when they're both dead. We're all going to the same place, empty-handed folks, you know. Steve Jobs from Apple said that at the university he went to. All the kids wanted to know about how to become loaded, you know, make of money, and he said, I'm not here to talk to you about that. I'm going to talk to you about being kind to others. And he said that you're going to die soon, you know, because life's very short and brief. And he said, and he showed them a suit with no pockets in it. And he said, when I go in my coffin in the next 12 months, he said, I'm not taking my millions with me. You know, so stop working for the house and stop trying to be famous and stop all that ego nonsense and just smash that ego on the ground and just start being a bit kinder to others, and then we'd have a nice, kind society, wouldn't we?
It would be great.
You know,
it would be great.
Can you imagine, Jaden, if all leaders were like Nelson Mandela or
absolutely.
or Gandhi? You know,
yes.
But no, you know, we're giving young people guns to shoot other innocent people with families. You know, a license to kill.
It's horrible.
Disgraceful.
It just continuously happens.
You know.
Yeah, it does. It continuously happens, and you would think that it would be stopped by now.
Our governments don't want us to love; they want us to hate.
Of course, they want to put
a
fear into us, and people that are so-called terrorists, and you know. But we're very renowned for going to other people's countries and doing shocking, horrible atrocities to them.
Legalised murder, but what you're doing is a beautiful thing. You're very kind-hearted, bro. Tell us about some of the stories you hear in the streets.
You hear some horrible stories, but then you like see some amazing things that really it uplifts you. And there's one client that I know of that we were having a chat the other day, and I didn't know, and he comes every week and has a community dinners and has dinner. But he was living on the streets for 3 years, and he's dying of cancer. For 3 years he's been dying of cancer. For 3 years he's been diagnosed with cancer. And he had no shelter. He wasn't eating the proper food, and he was a diabetic too. He would wake up and his insulin was stolen because people would think it was his wallet because of the package it came in. And just to think that this man went to hospital, or he would approach people and say, I'm suffering from cancer and I need somewhere warm, but no one cared. He still lived on the streets, and he still lived, you know, under shelters. And
so they're not all bad people, are they?
No, of course not, mate.
See, some of the fancy schmancy people there in the big houses and everything, that they walk past the person who's sitting there in the street and's got their little bag out because I hear this a lot. I'm not going to give that guy any money because he's going to drink it or shoot it up anyway, and they actually avoid the homeless person when. Who gives a shit what they're going to do? It's that act of kindness, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I see it kind of in a different sense as I'd rather sometimes give people the money. If what they're going to do with it is up to them, whether or not. But by giving them money, it's going to, save someone from getting either bashed, robbed, or hurt.
It's an act of kindness.
It's an act of kindness, but someone's going to be saved from getting hurt because that person's going to be hanging out for drugs. They're going to go out and commit a crime.
Wouldn't it be lovely if all of us at school got taught every day 25 acts of random kindness, Smile at somebody, But what do we see? Just these blank faces, It's all about me. All closed books, too scared to really open up. We should just be open a bit, teach kids to just be open and authentic. Because so many people, even in all the rich areas, it's always about this, my job, my title, my this, my fame.
Yep.
They're living these egotistical lifestyles, and then the shit happens,
Absolutely.
The bankruptcy or the cancer scare, and all of a sudden, in the last couple of years of their life, they become loving and authentic human beings,
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice? And they think, I've wasted the last 60 years on sheer bullshit trying to impress others.
Yep.
Yep. Wouldn't it be nice to live an authentic life?
Yeah, absolutely.
Showing kindness to others.
It would be good.
Right from the start.
Yeah, it would be. Some people become a product of their own environment where they just know no better.
No.
They don't know no better. So
and I find that, folks, I'm not having a go at real estate agents or car salespeople, but, sometimes we find some very authentic people in there, but I just can't do the sales stuff, Oh, g'day, Michael, how are you? And this and that. I just walk away, Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Just all this, we're pampering to each other's ego,
Yep.
Both people might be down and, how are you? I'm great. And what are you doing over the Easter holiday,
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that we're not honest with people.
No.
How's your day? I'm horrible. I'm not having a good day and I feel miserable.
Shit day.
Well, I'm having a shit day and I'm better off jumping off the edge of a building.
Having a shit day, didn't get a route last night, Hate my missus,
We don't say it, do we?
No.
It'd be funny. I might start going around, and actually a colleague of mine does it now. He walks around and asks, how are your days? And he goes, it's absolutely terrific. It's incredible. Riveting. So,
who says that?
Oh, one of my colleagues, one of the boys, the outreach workers there, he does it, and it's just, and people don't know how to react. They get funny.
I suppose he's a source of joy. We need people like that too, don't we?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, but it makes people smile.
Yeah.
When he says it, they actually smile. They laugh. So it gives that person that.
You've got such a nice, humble personality. They must love you, the people in the streets, yeah?
Yeah, I like to think so. I get along with everyone. Everyone's great to me, and they're so humble, and people are they're so grateful. That's probably the best word to use. They're extremely grateful, and we go there, like the foundation, the people, we go there whether it's rain, hail or shine.
Wow.
And we get wet with the people, so we'll stand there.
And you live locally, live in St Kilda?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I live in St Kilda.
Do some of the punters ring you up after hours when they need some help in there?
No, not necessarily, but I see them, and I'll, like, if I'm walking around at, like, it's say 11 o'clock at night and I see one of them, I know they're hungry, I'll go buy them something to eat or sit down and have a chat with them, or I usually throw them a banana because I find it's nutritious.
Mate, you are a decent and first-class professional. Thanks for coming on, Jaden.
Thanks, Michael.
We'll have you on again in a couple of years' time when you finish that youth work, but thanks very much.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Good inspiration, and thanks very much for watching. You're a great inspiration. Love and best wishes. Whatever stuff you're going through, you will get through, and you'll be smiling again. Just make sure to show a bit of joy to others tomorrow, and we'll see you next week. Good night.